Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. It's the first day of February and that means that the numbers for January performance of Warcraft Rumble are now available on Sensor Tower. So obviously, as every month, I took a look at how is our favorite game doing and how did Rumble do in January. On iOS, Rumble was downloaded 200,000 times, that's 100,000 times less than in December, and it generated around 2 million in revenue, which is 2 million less than in December. Whereas on Android, Rumble's downloaded 400,000 times, that's 500,000 times less than in December, and it generated around 2 million in revenue, which is 1 million less than in December. So total, Rumble's downloaded in 600,000 times and generated 4 million in revenue. Well, it is still going down. It's not going down as quickly as it went from November to December. Remember, November figures were much higher, several million downloads, almost 10 million more revenue. But yeah, still going downwards, and these are the current numbers. So how does that position Rumble among other strategy games, mobile strategy games in January 2024? I took a look at the Sensor Tower numbers for Android and for iOS and I put them together and then I turned them into a list of revenue per game strategy genre. I again had to make the font a little bit smaller to fit Rumble in. In November, Rumble was in top 10, and then in December it was number 21, and I didn't look that much beyond Rumble. I just look, okay, nothing else is ahead of it. And now it's number 29 if I got everything correctly. There were a bunch of games at 4 million revenue, including Rumble. I didn't bother listing the other ones because it already takes a little bit of space to do all of this. But top grossing strategy mobile games January 2024. Overall, most of the games have lost revenue compared to December. Oh, surprise, really? Well, no surprise. I mean, December is a big spending month, so yeah, no surprises there. Some games have even managed to get more revenue. Whiteout Survival, 47 million in January. Very nice. Pokemon Go, 34 million. Clash of Clans being the third most successful at 33 million. Out of these Rumble-like games, well, Clash Royale fits into top 10, made 17 million. Yeah, compared to Rumble's 4 million. Rumble has also fallen now below Marvel Snap. It's a really bit of a different category, but it's a game that I'm familiar with. Marvel Snap made 6 million in January, Rumble made 4 million. Yeah, a whole bunch of games, successful games. But I mean, being the 29th top grossing strategy game, it's still not terrible now, is it? Although we will see how that holds, because looking at the charts available at Sensor Tower, then these are charts for Android. On iOS, Rumble has been hovering between number 20 and number 40 in both downloads and revenue in the strategy genre. In Android, Rumble actually was in the downloads doing pretty well. It was consistently like top 5. Then Sunday, January 14th, it was still number 8, top 3 downloaded game in the strategy genre. And on Monday, January 15th, Rumble fell out from the top 10 most downloaded Android strategy games in the US, and it has not recovered since. So for the last 2 weeks, Rumble has been out of top 10. When it comes to top grossing games, Rumble has been holding a little bit better. It's still making money at a decent rate, even though new downloads have started to fall down a little bit further. So overall, January was a tough month for Rumble. Downloads have clearly fallen. The new season showed some revenue gains, and overall revenue has held much better than downloads, so Rumble is still making some money, that few $1 million per month. But new player interest is waning, and we need to have something for that. Obviously, we haven't had any really new content for a while. Like the new season gave us a new mini again, but there's no raids, there's no new zones, no new dungeon. There just hasn't been a whole lot of anything new for the first few months of Rumble, just a couple of new minis. So new player interest just isn't there right now. And patches for the last month have had some really major bugs. The patch before Christmas was botched. The patch in January was not good. And currently Actually, many players are unable to play PvP because it causes the client to crash on mobile, on tablets, on an emulator, no matter, it just crashes. And that's been around for a week now. Yeah, Rumble definitely, overall the patches have improved the quality of the game. Like, the load times have improved. There were many annoying load times, there were many more crashes. But every time there's a new patch for Rumble, there are some almost game-breaking, or in this case for PvP, completely game-breaking bugs that then need to be fixed. So it's, well, it's not one step forward, two steps back, more like two steps forward, one step back. But this back and forth with the bugs in Rumble has definitely not been great. Lack of new content has not been great, so tough month for Rumble. I do still believe this can be turned around. I mean, if they can get their quality in line, if they can get their patches to be actually good, and if they can start releasing new content, I don't see any reason why Rumble couldn't still succeed. Obviously, people are wondering, okay, well, is this profitable enough? Do they have the time to turn this around? And to answer that question, I tried to dig a little bit into numbers. There was a team picture of the Rumble team that was on Twitter, and that showed around 80 people. And average Blizzard salary is 100,000, and then you add 20,000 for various mandatory employer costs, which means that the Rumble team payroll in a year for Activision Blizzard is around 10 million. But what other costs do they have in addition to that payroll cost? That's really hard to evaluate. We can take a look at, okay, overall as a company, they have generally spent 1/3 in payroll and 2/3 in other costs. And if we conjecture from there, okay, 10 million payroll would mean 20 million in other costs. And then we know how much profit the company generally makes, what the margins are. And if we take into account the average margin, because that's obviously what the company is looking at, okay, could we put these people to do some other work and then they would make more money for us? But Rumble would contribute around the average margin of the company if it was able to generate 40 million per year in revenue. These are not worth much, I admit, these numbers. These are quite a bit of conjecture here. But that would mean 3.3 million per month. So 4 million was what it made in January. So that would still mean that Blizzard would not be able to put these people to do other work and have them make more money for the company. Nor would it benefit from laying them off and cutting the Rumble project. They would just not make that money. So it's definitely been very tough start of the year for Rumble, but I hope Blizzard will be able to turn it around. They just need to work on that quality and work on getting some new content out there. And yeah, hopefully that can happen, because obviously with the difficulties the game has had, interest is at an all-time low right now, but yeah, nothing that could not still be fixed. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.